Hello there folks and welcome to Uncharted Territory, and no, that is not a new nickname for Retro Sundays, it's just a fact that, we've got to click the 2 button. That is the fact that this is my first, possibly last, who knows, Nintendo Wii video. Now this is quite unbelievable really. I've done most of my Retro Sunday stuff on the PS2 and PS1, and today we are finally going into the Nintendo Wii category. Now, apologies, the quality isn't that brilliant, but the Nintendo Wii did have an AV cable back in the day, so even with this great Wii to HDMI lead, which I will be showing on my TIJ Education channel in the next few days, I'll be doing a review of that and also how to connect your Wii to the Elgato game capture device. But apart from all that rubbish, yeah, this is very much Uncharted territory for me. In terms of the game we are playing on Retro Sundays today, we are playing F1 2009, and as usual we have got the trusty Wikipedia. Just a bit of a disclaimer before we start, apologies if I'm a bit more shouty than usual. I've had to sit a little bit further away from the microphone that I usually do, because the Nintendo Wii remote doesn't really pick up with the sensor bar if you're this close, but actually I suppose for a game like this it shouldn't really matter too much. But anyway, F1 2009 is a video game based on the 2009 season of the F1 motor racing series. Confirmed by CODEMASTERS, that's a name that's become very popular in terms of F1 games in the last 10 years. Before that, it was synonymous with cricket games and other games, you know, the likes of Dirt, of course, and games like that. Still manufacture Dirt today, but apart from F1 and Dirt, they don't really make anything else anymore. They used to have a wide range before they entered the F1 genre. It was released on this console and the PlayStation Portable on the 16th of November in North America and the 19th of November in the PAL region and 20th in the UK, blimey. The game was also out on the iOS system for $6.99, and I was interested to hear this actually, that this is the first time, this game, since F1 Challenge 99-02 that was released by EA, the F1 game has been released on multiple platforms. So Sony previously held the rights to F1, that's why it was only on the PlayStation platform. The first game, well, surely the first Formula 1 game on a Microsoft platform would have had to have been F1 2010. Yeah, that's quite an astounding fact actually, I didn't really think of that beforehand. So obviously, yeah, they only released games on their own consoles, so the PS2, the PS3 and the PlayStation Portable, and before that the PlayStation Original. The game is based off the Eco engine that Codemasters use on past racing games, so like Dirt, Race Driver Grid, of course, I forgot about that one. And Codemasters released limited bundles of Formula 1 2009 with F1 style wheels. Unfortunately, I haven't got that. Blah, blah, blah. You know, as most games do, all the circuits, all the drivers that started the season doesn't introduce the replacement drivers. And the reception was pretty good, to be fair. It received mixed reviews. Some people thought the textures were a bit rubbish, but what I thought was fair enough, and it's bang on what Eurogamer said, was that it's not the revolution that the Formula 1 subgenre was waiting for, but you are not likely to find many Wii owners complaining, really, as an F1 game. I don't think any Wii owners were particularly looking for a simulation type game, and that is absolutely true for this game. I am going to move a little bit close to the microphone now, because I don't think the sensor bar is really going to affect too much with me just using the arrow keys, etc. here. So, right, we have to control it with this way. So, yes, this is my first time playing. Well, why can't we? Oh, we have to take that off, I'm guessing. No? Oh, sorry, right. I need to look at what we actually need to do on the arrow keys a bit more, I think. T, O, B, Y. And this is definitely a Retro Sunday game that, for the first time in a long while, I'd actually be willing to do a Let's Play through. Because it's just a classic. A lot of people don't think it is. A lot of people take the mick out of it. But I genuinely think it's a classic. It's one that I spent so much time, hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, playing this game. Ultimately, because it was the first Formula 1 game since F1 Championship Edition, which again is another fantastic game. And if I do get a chance to get a PS3 splitter, I will be playing F1 Championship Edition at some point on the channel, definitely. But this is just an absolutely fantastic game. There's no doubt about it. For its time, it's one that ultimately started the Codemasters franchise, which still continues today. We're going to go with the Firebird helmet, yeah. So, confirm that. I think we'll just do a few quick races today. Don't think there's really much point doing career mode. Yeah, that looks all good to me. I don't really want to use manual. gearbox. Now I'm going to model this as using a racing wheel because I don't really want to use my nunchuck. So the racing wheel, you've got the steering to turn the wheel, accelerate 2 button, brake 1 or B button. Probably use the B button, that's easier. Curse A button, glance behind. Yeah. Okay. Grip the wheel firmly with both hands. Use the wrist strap during gameplay. Well, a bit of a confession. I haven't got the wrist strap on me, so I'm not going to use that. But just a quick look at the single-player games. I haven't played this for 10 years, so this is an absolutely brilliant experience for me. So you could compete in a full Grand Prix weekend. So effectively, you could choose any Grand Prix weekend and compete in the sessions you wanted to. You could drive in the full World Championship as a driver, and we will have a look at the drivers. I don't think we actually have to go into this. I think we can back up at some point. Oh, we have to go down to the bottom to confirm that. So let's just remind ourselves of the grid for the 2009 season. Hamilton and Kovalainen at McLaren, Massa and Raikkonen at Ferrari, Kubica, well, much better back in the day for Kubica, goodness me, you wouldn't think 10 years in the future he was quite this bad. You can actually look at the car as well. That's quite, right, okay, that's nice. You can zoom into the car, that's awesome. I didn't realise you could do that, that's awesome. So you can have a look at each team's info. So Kubica and Heifeld at BMW, Alonso and PK at the Renault team, Trulli and Glock at Toyota. This is such a flashback for me. Probably the first season I probably got into Formula 1, this was. Webber and Vettel at Red Bull, Rosberg and Nakajima at Williams, Sutherland and Fisichella at Force India, Button and Barrichello, of course, Button the world champion at Brawn, and Bourdais and Buemi at Toro Rosso. Such a changed grid now, it's quite unbelievable. So, let's go into some quick races, shall we? We've also got the career mode, and we have challenge. Oh, that could be an idea for a series, actually. That could be an idea for a series. I remember doing this, because I also still have got this on the Nintendo Wii. I remember enjoying these a lot. That could be a potential bit for a series, rather than just a conventional career mode. Let me know what you think of that, potentially doing the challenges as a series on the channel. But for now, anyway, let's get into the quick start. But where are my manners to the new people watching this? I mean, I've been going for about 7 odd minutes now, and I haven't said hello to the new people watching this. If you are new to the channel, I put out retro content every Sunday. You would have heard at the start of the video on mostly on the PS2 and PS1, but today we're on the Nintendo Wii, and that's something that could stay like it for a little bit of a while. I haven't actually got, I mean, I've got Wii Sport, which would be a good game to play, wouldn't it, on Retro Sunday. I've got Golden Balls, but literally that's about it for the Wii. I need to try and get a few more games. But we're going to do a race around Istanbul, 3 laps. We'll do medium AI, vehicle damage on, fuel use and tyre wear on, weather, variable, component failure, yes, penalties off, or relaxed. Yeah, that sounds good to me. Now, I can't remember if there's any commentary on this. I can't remember. We'll have to see as we go into the race, but yeah, let's see. I can't remember was the only commentary. I can't remember. I don't think he would have done it. I'm trying to think who would have done it. I don't think there is. I think it's just the guy on the pits, but I might be wrong. My memory might be wrong. So let's see. What's the introductory bit for this race? Oh, never mind. There is no introductory bit. Hang on, I didn't really know how to accelerate. So, how do we change the camera? That button. So, oh my goodness me, look at this. This actually it doesn't feel too bad. So its brake is the 1 button, is it? Ah! Oh, this is horrible. This just doesn't feel right. I mean, it's great using a Wii remote like a steering wheel, but oh my goodness me, Jesus. This is going to take a lot to get used to. Is it the A button for Kurz? The fact it's a new circuit as well that I haven't used for a long time, Istanbul. That's one of the reasons I used it. One of the circuits that hasn't survived this game in terms of getting to this year's calendar. It's so hard trying to commentate over this and trying to learn the new game. I mean, luckily we're holding quite a few people up behind. What's the Kurz? So Kurz is A, right. There we go, Kurz is up. I mean, Kurz is ridiculous. It's a concept that was only used on some of the cars in that season. It wasn't used on all cars, but in this game, all the cars got Kurz. Let me know what the quality's like, though, of this. I'm interested to see what the Wii to HDMI converter's done. I mean, I think it's a bit dubious for them to say it's a Wii to HDMI. Because, yes, it is a Wii to HDMI converter in itself, but you could twist a few people in thinking that it's actually a Wii to HD thing, that it's an upscaler, but really it isn't, because the quality is as good as I remember. It's not great, the quality, of course, but we're getting into this a little bit more now, but we haven't crashed yet, which is a big thing. But Jesus Christ, Buemi is 7.5 seconds ahead, and if we do a series on this game, I'm going to have to take a lot of training and that sort of thing, and get back into this. Oh, there's PK up the inside, he's locked his tyres. And we just can't battle him. Oh, okay, that's the... For some reason we can't turn. Seems you can't go full lock. What's going on? Turn! I tried to go full lock and it didn't work. Yeah, if you look, as soon as you go full lock, it goes a bit weird. That's a little bit frustrating, but it's not the best physics, but... Okay, this game might not be as good as I remember it to be. Your childhood memory at the age of 8 or 9 is a little bit warped now, it's 10 years later. But ultimately, it's great looking back at this. This was the first effort that Codemasters made of an F1 game. They'd obviously been successful with racing games before, with Dirt, Race Driver Grid, and a lot of games back on the PS1 day. I want to say, I don't think they... did they, or did they not? They might have made the old TOCA touring car games as well. Not necessarily the ones for the PS2, but I know they did for the... Well, I don't know they did, but I'm fairly sure they did for the PS1 back in the day. But what I'm trying to say is that they've got an inherent background in racing games, have Codemasters, and this was really a revolutionary game. Not in terms of its quality or anything, because of course the F1 Championship Edition was, you know, better looking. It was on a better console in terms of it was HD. But this was Codemasters' first effort. I don't know why, and I couldn't tell you why. There's no sort of interview saying this, but I don't know why this wasn't a PS3, Xbox 360 release. No idea whether they'd signed a deal with Nintendo or what. I don't really know what had happened there, but it does seem peculiar for Codemasters to choose the Nintendo Wii and the PSP, especially for their limited capability in terms of quality, and ultimately in that day, even 10 years ago now, we were used to gaming at 1080p with HDMI. With the Xbox 360 and PS3. I mean, I remember the Xbox 360. This isn't actually too bad a lap. We're getting into this a little bit more now. But the PS3, I'm presuming, was HDMI from the start. I know the first few years I used my Xbox 360, that was through an AV cable. But I think when the new Kinect ones came out, when the new Kinect Xbox 360s came out in 2010, they used HDMI leads. So for at least the last 9 or 10 years, my gaming has all been through HD, really, in terms of up-to-date gaming. And obviously going back to these consoles and the PS2, you have to game in 480p. There's just no other way you can get around that, really. But we are getting into this a little bit more now. I mean, we're miles behind purely because we buggered off the track for about 15-20 seconds. But this is a great experience. It's been one that probably I've been looking for a long time. I did buy this game probably about 6 months ago now, out of a great second-hand store called CEX in the UK. If you're not familiar with it, get online and check that right now. It's an awesome store, and I bought this for about £1.50 out of there about 6 months ago. I'd actually bought a Nintendo Wii, but obviously I couldn't play it on this television because, like many televisions now, there's no compatibility for AV cables. So I had been meaning to buy this Wii to HDMI converter. I've known about it for a long time, but I just never got round to buying it. So I thought last week, I'll bite the bullet. It was £2.70, which is what, probably about $3.50, something stupid like that. Probably not even that much, or about €3. So basically €2.70 looking at the exchange rate. But Christ, I didn't think I'd be talking about Brexit on this video. But we've actually caught up to the guys ahead, to be fair. We've actually done a few decent laps, and, you know, they weren't on beginner. It was on medium AI, so that's not all too bad. But a result that Button wasn't familiar with, really, in the 2009 season. We finish in 20th place, but a decent race. We'll definitely do one or two more. Sebastian Vettel wins the race, goodness me. Trulli finishes second, Webber third, Rosberg fourth. I mean, if you look at that, if you bar the Red Bulls, if you ignore Webber, well, you could still say this stat. There's 6 different teams in the top 7. That's something these days you just never ever see. A Ferrari being out of the points on merit, again, you'd never see that. The same really going for a Renault with likes for Alonso. And to be fair, we weren't all too far behind in the end. We weren't too bad. So I think, given another race, I think we would be quite decent. But I quite liked the cover art for this game, actually. I did. It looks very nice. The official Formula 1 game brings you every star, every car, and every race from the sensational 2009 season. And it was a good season, to be fair. Hang on. Take your skills to the limit with over 75 challenges. So there must be a plethora of challenges that I forgot about. It must, again, have took a long time. So just having a look at screen layout. Let's have a look if we can change any of this around. Yeah, I think that's absolutely fine. So we'll do probably one more race. I don't want to cut this too long. It's just a showcase of F1 2009. But we'll do another quick start for a quick race. We'll make this a little bit longer this time. We'll just do a 10% race. We're going to race this time Why not? We'll go with somebody different. We'll go with Jarno Trulli in the Toyota. It was, of course, Toyota's final season. And we'll go to the Nurburgring, another track that is not used anymore. So we'll go with the same sort of thing, but we'll go with 10% of the race, which I'm guessing is probably 5 or 6 laps. If it's too long, we can just come out of it. But oh god, yeah, I forgot about this. You have to pit if you've got the variable tyre wear. It's kind of like fixed. So if you do a 5 or 6 lap race, the tyres in effect wear at the same rate that would in a normal race to give you that immersive experience, which is something I quite liked about this game. It was quite a nice feature. And yes, I suppose that I think Championship Edition did it as well. But again, it was a really nice thing to do. So now we know how to use this. It's 2 to accelerate, isn't it? Yeah. So Webber's on pole, we're in second, and it's lights out and away we go. We've struggled to get off the line really there, using pretty much all of our curves. But that's not all too bad a start. Into the first corner. Oh, we'll practically have to go full lock here. Luckily the controller still responds to that. 6 laps around the Nurburgring circuit. Now, personally, I don't think the lighting's all too bad. I don't, and the AI aren't too bad either. I mean, the 2 Red Bulls have buggered off into the distance, and is that tyre? Is that? Oh god, that's a little bit aggressive into there. Is that the brakes locking up for Vettel and Webber, or is that just tyre smoke or whatever? Because if it is the brakes locking up, that's a nice feature. See that happens, but we're a lot more competitive here than we were in the last race. But this is one of the most enjoyable just from playing this Retro Sundays I have played, because yes, I was born in the PS2 era, but really I was seriously getting into gaming at this point when it was the likes of F1 2009. We've actually got a decent run on Sebastian Vettel into the left-hander. We've got him. Oh, that's way too quick. It'd probably be decent if you've got a proper controller that you can actually get through those corners quickly, but that wasn't the most advised. Perhaps that was why he was going so slowly into there, because it's not meant to be took at full pelt. But get out of this corner, that's true. Oh god, get back onto the straight. It is a bit of an arcadey feel, I admit, but we're back up into second place with Jarno Trulli. Much better than that race with Jensen Button, but it's fascinating. I mean, this is the first, ultimately, unless you have a racing wheel, this is the closest you're going to get in an F1 game to really having that true immersion of having to steer. And that was a great thing with the Nintendo Wii, wasn't it? It was the fact that it took everything and made it so different. Like with Wii Sports, you had to bowl and had to play tennis and made things a lot different. And the Wii was just such an, not immersive, it was such an accessible console. You know, I played the Nintendo Wii. I played the Nintendo Wii, unfortunately my nan passed away about 7 years ago, but we played the Nintendo Wii so much. You know, I was 8 or 9, I went down there. Everyone I know had a Nintendo Wii. It was such an accessible console, and really something that Nintendo haven't followed up since then. I know they've got the Nintendo Switch now, but that's got, I would say, a more limited market. The Nintendo Wii is such an open market, and I think that Microsoft and PlayStation and Sony tried to follow that formula with the connecting the PlayStation Move. What's the word? Respectively, yeah, that's the one. But truthfully, it wasn't. It was never as good as the Nintendo Wii, because it wasn't the first thing to do that, and ultimately Kinect was a little bit dodgy anyway. It wasn't as good as people said it was going to be, and that's why Xbox One took it off in the end, because it was that bad. But Nintendo Wii, does it hold up today? Oh, go on, we'll take Webber. Beautiful stuff. What a move that is on Mark Webber. Brilliant stuff. But does it hold up today? Not with the current consoles, of course doesn't. Oh, I'm glad it reminded me. I forgot we had to pit. So we'll get in there this lap. I don't know how to put a pit limiter on, so I'm guessing we don't have to. I wouldn't be surprised with how arcadey this is that we don't have to. But so we'll just tap around the corner and out for this run into the pits. Right, there we go. Is it interactive pit stops? I forgot now. I don't think it is. No, it's not. So, of course, 2009, the last season of refueling. Who couldn't remember that? But we seem to have pitted quite early here, based on the fact that everybody in the field has gone past. Now, I've had a bit of a sudden relapse, so I've forgotten if it's 1 or 2 to accelerate. Must be 2, yeah, it's 2. Right, we're out of the pits. Rosberg either had a crash at the start, or he's pitted along with us, the only one, must have been. But now it's time to catch everyone up and get back into this with the next 4 laps, and let's see how we get on. So, end of lap 3 time, there's going to be a few people staying out, of course, if they started on the hard tyres and then go for a quick stint on the softs at the end. Rosberg's actually retired from the race, that's why he's so far behind. But plenty of people coming into the pits, we've jumped all of them. Jensen Button being the last one of those, so we haven't done too badly, clearly. I think he was in 4th place, so we've at least kept that place. As you can see, the likes of Nakajima, we're catching them and we're practically a pit stop ahead of them after 3 laps, which is quite unbelievable, really, here at the Nurburgring. I love this circuit, I really do. It's a shame that this one had to go. Of course, it used to alternate, didn't it, with Hockenheim. That was after this was the European Grand Prix. God, we're going on Nakajima at an uncomfortable pace. Air Asia on the back of that Williams, I forgot about that. I mean, Williams have been a team that have just gone backwards, haven't they? But at this point, they weren't exactly fantastic. Go past Heidfeld and past Peak. I'm surprised the Sabres have pit stop behind us. Is that Mark Webber? Well, he might have pitted. You never know. He might not have done. Surely he's pitted. We can't have gained that much time on him. I don't think in 2 laps we'd have gained a pit stop's worth, but Jesus! We're into the wall. There! We're okay. I mean, I don't know how our tyre didn't come off or anything there. We have got damage on, but this is a little bit weird. So around the corner, I think that's Vettel and Webber, you know, who were just up ahead. And I think they must have pitted. Got a little bit of a damage to our rear wing. Don't see that, how we, even though we hit it with our front. Unless it's a top-down view of the car, but surely can't be. But those are the 2 Red Bulls, so I'm guessing that, unless that's a Toro Rosso, that's a Toro Rosso. So has Webber been held up, potentially? Don't care, the Toro Rosso dives in the pits. We're going to dive at the inside of Mark Webber. We run Mark Webber wide. That was cheeky. That was very cheeky. Never mind the fact that Max Verstappen put Leclerc on the grass. We well and truly whacked him out of the way. And at the start of lap 5, we are ahead in this race with Jarno Trulli. Great stuff. We have got someone right on our backside, and that is Rubens Barrichello. We've obviously got a little bit of damage because it did advise that we pitted, but we're managing that. That's got to be the rear wing, surely, that's glowing a sort of orangey colour. But I don't get it because we hit the barrier with our front wings. Surely it'd be the opposite, but we've used our KERS. It's a great effect to get away from Barrichello there. That gap now up to 2.2 seconds. In the last section of the last lap, it was just 0.3 of a second. So we've obviously got our act together and got a good gap on Barrichello. But this is enjoyable, I have to say. I'm really enjoying this. And with your support, I'll either do a career mode series or a challenge series. If enough of you support the idea of a series, I might just put it to a poll. Whether we do the challenge or career mode series. But you'll have to let me know in the comments. Again, it's not something that I'm, you know, I can get it into the schedule. But it's if you guys want to see it. Because it is a little bit of a hassle for me to get the Wii out. If ultimately there's not many of you who want to watch it. Which I guess you guys will understand. With the other stuff I've got going on the channel. But let's focus on the end of this race for now. We've got a lot of excitement coming up. Because unless we completely butcher this last corner. Which to be fair we do. And luckily we've got a good gap to Rubens Barrichello. Get out of there nicely. And at the Nurburgring we come around the final corner. And with the Panasonic Toyota Racing. The first, probably last time I ever raced with this car. We have won the German Grand Prix with Jarno Trulli. Oh! What? Penalty? What bloody penalty? It's not like we took Mark Webber out or anything. Oh, no way! We bloody deserve to win that. Well, the stewards haven't bloody changed, have they? Cheating gits. Alright, well. Well, we finished just outside the points. We can take that with a pinch of salt. But if that was a career mode race, I'd be blooming furious. But that was why we... that was why we needed to come to the pits. Not for anything else. Should have really listened to the team guy. But that was a lot of fun. A good old bit of Retro Sundays. And what I've been looking forward to making for a while. And finally I've fulfilled that dream. As I say, if you want to see more F1 2000 line, please, please, please let me know down in the comments. Because I won't know otherwise. But as well, make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more retro snooker, MotoGP content and cricket content as well on the channel. But for now, I've been TIJ Game. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye for now.